kidding. There's so much. There's so much history. It's great.
Yeah. I just want to interject a few things people may not be aware of. First of all, Birth of a Nation saved MGM from bankruptcy. So I don't know. And it was probably made for that purpose. Otherwise, it would have gone out of business. I think it's great that you mentioned tonight about what we call the intercommunal support by the Panthers of other ethnic groups, because I wasn't aware of it to that extent. And but I'm aware that there's COINTEL propaganda put out by the FBI, put out about the Panthers that they hated Whitey. They were all coming to get Whitey. So I just wanted to interject that. But the other thing, I was looking at Wikipedia about the Black Panther Party. So if you just put in Black Panther Party in Wikipedia, in some of those aspects, you would have think that some of those passages were written by Seth Rosenfeld. And in theory, as I understand it, anyone can edit or help edit a Wikipedia article. So, and a lot of people these days do go to Wikipedia as their first stop. Especially, anybody, but especially, the younger you are, the greater tendency you would have to do that. And so, I know one line in the Wikipedia article said something about after Huey Newton was acquitted of killing a cop, he went around bragging about how he killed a cop. Oh. So, it's got that kind of stuff. I just want to say, I'll just interject this, and then I'll have my question. The reason I said that about working class, in this country, people are kind of taught to identify upwards. So, what is a white-collar worker? I mean, many white-collar workers don't consider themselves working class, and a lot of people who aren't, especially who aren't blue-collar workers, don't want to consider themselves working class. So that's why I think that term is divisive, because you can even have some attorneys either working for a firm or even in private practice. They might make less than a union truck driver at a major construction site. So that's why I just said I think that term is divisive. My questions, and feel free to respond to any of those, but my question very briefly, one, what was the estimate of the nationwide numbers of the Black Panthers at their height? Two, how did the mainstream civil rights movements, mainstream civil rights organizations react to the Panthers, like the NAACP, SNCC, maybe the Urban League, if you consider that mainstream?
React to
the rise of the Black Panthers, to the existence of the Black Panthers, because the mainstream civil rights organizations in general were more politically conservative, comparatively speaking. What do you all think of the new Black Panthers? And my fourth question, I'm always interested in the state of the Panthers. And, one of the things that I try to read is about the internal dynamics of the Panthers. Like, there's some issues about purgings after Huey got out of prison. I'm interested in that, so that any group that I'm a part of, a movement I'm a part of, we can try to avoid those kind of problems. One of the things that upset me about a lot of progressive icons is how just casually callous they can be, apparently because of their iconic status. And one time I went to try to speak with Elaine Brown when she was at a program, and I waited for all the young people to talk to her and stuff like that, and I tried to approach her, and she ran from me like I had bad breath. And I'm like, what did I do to Elaine Brown?
How did you approach her?
Hold on.
I just
check this out.
He asked me a question I'd like to answer. As I said, I waited for all of the high school students to talk to her and get their pictures taken and the autograph. And actually, I had asked her questions before at previous book lectures of her. There's always been an amiable interaction. So that's why I couldn't understand why this happened. And I was with a sister friend of mine, and I asked her later, how did that look to you? And she said, yeah, I noticed what she was doing. But as I said, I noticed icons of all colors. Some of them can get really callous because of their iconic status and treat like those of us who don't have public status.
You got to understand, she's a Black Panther Party member. You got people like that. I don't know what happened.
I mean, but this is like disheartening and dispiriting to have.
I don't want to dishearten you, but your time is up.
He asked me a question.
No, The time is up. You had your 3 minutes.
He asked me a question.
I
I'm
know.
answering
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Your 3 minutes are up.
He
3 minutes.
asked me a question.
Your
I
time
mean,
is up.
you went on a hell of a long time, Ellis.
No, I
you
didn't.
always do.
I did.
This argument's been on.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. History Lesson, Ellis always wants to give us from the
Can we
audience.
continue? May we continue? Thank you. I'm sorry, sir. You had your
I remember the Panthers.
Excuse me, I did have some questions for someone then. You don't want to answer them, Melvin?
Well, let me just say this.
I was asking
in
about the
consideration
number.
for others, I don't want to
I don't
block
need
your
you to
question.
mediate.
Yes, you do.
No,
you're
you
dominating space.
No, and you're being a
taking away
white
from the
supremacist, so shut
No,
the fuck
I'm
up.
not.
I don't need your white
We need
supremacist
to-
ass to mediate between me and another brother. Stay the fuck out.
Well, Joseph, please.
And here's another white guy. No, Mr. White Supremacist, I don't want to leave. That's why people like you were kicked out of SNCC. What are you gonna call the cops?
No,
Are you
you're the
gonna
one
call
that
the
calls
cops?
the cops.
Shut the fuck up, Mr.
Joseph,
White
you're the one that
Supremacist.
calls the cops.
I don't need you to mediate between me and another brother.
Come on, man.
I don't need you two white guys. That's
Excuse
why
me.
your asses were kicked out of SNCC. Because you had a tendency to act in a white supremacist behavior.
You're the one that
That's
calls
why
the
your
police,
asses were
Joseph.
kicked out of SNCC.
I beg your pardon, brothers and sisters.
Melvin is he's
Yeah,
a grown man. He can answer me. He doesn't need someone half his age.
Give him the space for it then.
Well, shut the fuck up. That's why your asses were kicked out of SNCC. Because you got that liberal white supremacist attitude. I'm talking to a brother, but Mr. White Supremacist thinks he knows everything and he can answer for the brother. He can answer for himself.
Hey, man.
Liberal white supremacist. I face this all the time, Melvin,
Yeah,
when I'm
but
around
that
these
doesn't
white
mean- that don't mean
so-called
you can blow
progressives.
up.
That don't mean you can.
That's because I'm
disrupt the
tired of their white supremacist asses doing this all the time,
No,
Melvin.
we're not.
If you spend a lot of time around these white progressives like I spend too much damn time around them, you would understand what I experience.
Okay.
Permit me.
Nobody, look, my brother.
Yes, my brother.
Look, you here on your own, right? Didn't nobody
sorry?
force you to come here.
No, I
didn't
came here
force
to
me
be
come. We
educated.
come our
I
own
didn't come
free
here to
will.
have some white supremacist
Okay.
liberal
He's
answer
not a
for
white
you.
supremacist.
Answer for you.
Come on.
You're a grown ass. You're old enough to be his daddy. You can answer for yourself. You don't need him.
We don't need this.
But you always get this when you're around too many white progressives. I know why they were
Well,
kicked
take-
out of SNCC.
take it
Your
easy.
asses were kicked out of SNCC because that's how you act.
Man, this is unbelievable. You're letting this happen.
Here's a lesson right now.
Excuse
Yeah.
me. To not let it happen might require employing violence, and we're opposed to that. So we would like to just have a political meeting if we can.
And look, the only people you see intervening, Elazar, you're white, and this guy's
Excuse
white.
me, you're a cop caller.
You're-
and you demanded a citizen arrest of this black communist.
Wait a
And
minute.
I got it on videotape.
Well, why don't you show it,
Why-
goddammit?
I will.
Why
You
are
have
you
never
doing that?
shown anyone that. Everyone black I know thinks you're full of shit, Elazar.
Right.
Including Tracy James.
Wait,
I doubt it.
What are
Yes.
you doing?
Yeah, why don't you call him? I got his phone number. You want to call him?
Sorry.
Why don't you show that videotape, Elazar?
I
You
will.
keep promising everybody you will, but you haven't yet.
The folks up here wanted to say something.
Regain control.
Hold on.
Next, who is
Just
next?
three white guys.
I've got a question. I
Here's
wanted to
here's
know
a
about.
fourth white guy.
I wanted to
Melvin
know-
hasn't even answered the question. Everybody intervening is white, goddammit.
Hey, listen up. I'm not going to answer a question on this situation.
That's okay. You don't have to. But I'm saying you're a grown man. You can
I'm not
decide
gonna
for
answer a
yourself.
question. But we have to have a say,
I know you- if you don't wanna answer, that's cool.
Communication, brother.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
I'm just
you-
saying, look at
you
all the
violated.
All the
We're
people intervening
politely
are white.
asking you to cease and
And
desist.
were you going to jump me again, Gerald?
I just-
You going to act a fool again,
I
Gerald?
just said
You going to act a fool
we
again
are
and jump me,
politely
Gerald?
asking you.
He's a grown-ass
I
man. Melvin
am
can answer for himself.
politely
If he doesn't want to
asking you
answer, that's
to
cool.
cease
You're going to
and
jump me
desist.
again like you jumped two other people, Gerald? You're always jumping people, Gerald, acting a fool, and then you talk about them young niggas acting a fool, and you act a fool all the time. That's why you kicked off a Tracy James radio show. You don't know that, do you, Melvin? Yeah, he was kicked off, went around bragging that
this is not
Black
what this is
Revolt
about,
Radio was
brother.
his idea.
not about-
It was a young brother's idea. It was in his 20s. Gerald going around telling everyone
I
it
don't
was
know.
his
I might
idea.
have to ask.
And then what are
Is
you
there
doing?
anybody
Now
here
look,
that
here's
might-
another white guy
Wait a
trying to stand
Is there
between me and
anybody
Melvin.
here?
Melvin, you guys,
for you to go.
you guys,
It's time for you
and
to
listen,
go.
this white guy's Make me go.
I'm not gonna
You
make you
fucking
go.
honky.
Excuse me.
Make me go.
Excuse me.
Well,
This is
It's always
unnecessary.
white people. Here's a
This
white
is not
person. Here's a
what
white
we
person. Here's a white
represent.
person. Here's a white
So
person.
I would like
and
to
a damn
ask
person
people,
of color said
do we wanna-
anything.
Do we
in the
want to
audience.
continue our meeting?
I'd like to.
How many
And a
people?
damn
How many of us want this program to continue
Would you
without?
be
Well, why don't you shut the fuck up, Melvin? Let him answer.
Wait a minute. How many people would
All
like
the
to...
white people in the room, shut the fuck up and let Melvin decide whether he wants to answer
He
or
already
not.
did. Excuse me. How many people would like to continue this meeting? All right. In order to do that, it's become clear that some collective action may be necessary.
What, you're gonna jump me again, Gerald?
Nobody
Like you
gonna
jump
you.
two other
Well, we
people
may
in the
help you
movement?
leave if you continue. Sir.
You wanna jump me again like you jumped two other people in the
I'm
movement?
sorry.
In your own group, Bolshevik
Excuse me.
tendency? Of all the
Excuse me.
6 people?
Excuse me. Your
Of all the 6
behavior
people?
has
How many
gone
more people
beyond
are gonna jump in the
necessary.
movement,
I
Gerald?
just want to know,
How many more people are
is
gonna
there
physically
anybody
attack?
here that would like to help me assist this gentleman
Help
out of
you.
this room?
Help you. Look, how many
gotta
white
go,
people are
buddy.
raising their hands?
Doesn't matter.
Gerald's doing it. All these white people.
We need
gotta
your
go.
help on this
All
one.
these
We
white
need your
I
help.
know.
We tried to-
Got to go. Got to
You
go.
got
All
to
these
go.
white people.
You got to
And
go.
Gerald.
No, you have to
And
go.
Gerald.
No, you have to go.
And Gerald.
And Melvin.
And Gerald.
We got a blanket.
And Gerald.
We got
And
a blanket.
Oh, we're using the blanket?
Get up. Get up. You gonna walk out with your home?
don't pull it
Let
out.
me go.
Don't pull it out.
Now your chance to leave.
Hey, don't pull it out.
What's that guy's name? I want to follow him around.
Don't follow him.
Probably.
I think he's.
You know what? Actually,
traumatized
they've been
by-
spraying shit, and it makes people go crazy. I've
cut.
seen this the last week.
I'll
People
cut
have been going
whatever they
crazy.
want me to cut. Promise. It's okay.
I want to get the uncovered version.
That was so terrible.
Well, it is all white.
He does. And I am going to, now we're going to show it. I promise you. We're going to show the film of him disrupting our meeting. The Black Panther, the Malcolm X at Black Panther. And then
It's all
demanding a
happening.
citizen
It's
arrest of Gerald.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Now we're going to show that film.
I have no idea.
Excuse me. Thanks.
I hope not.
I feel like but you did it right this time, asking for a collective decision.
Thank you.
That's the way to do it. He should be barred. May I ask a question about that film? How many would like to see the film according
What
to
is that?
May I?
No.
No, okay, not now.
Can we
but
just
some
have
future
silence a little
time.
bit for a second?
It's a very excellent film about Black history. God damn.
I have to say, that was not violent. No, he was not struck.
That's
We
right.
simply removed him.
He knows you.
You know, amazingly, there was somebody else who had to be told to leave from the meeting this morning up at the Nival Proctor Library.
I heard about it.
People are very, you know, they suddenly, the dam breaks and they just can't shut up. And there's something really hard for people that, I mean, 2 in one day? That to me, that's a sign of the times. I mean, we've got some serious shit happening. And we need to, like, those of us who've been around for a while, to think about, you know, recommitment and everybody to try to work more on. The shit's going to hit the fan pretty soon. I mean, that's an example.
So you think?
There's mentally disturbed people that I've been running into too. That we wouldn't
Speak up,
know.
please.
There are mentally disturbed people in this area. You know, it's my
But there's so
current
many of
experience.
them, and they're all
and
coming
they,
to
yeah,
political meetings.
and you do not know at first that they are mentally disturbed because they are very intelligent, perhaps they're very articulate, they're very study,
I know,
may even
it
have
comes off pretty
experience with
good.
things, but
No, not when you started yelling at this.
Okay,
I have a question. Well, I'm not sure if we're still in the forum mood.
Well, it's not a mood, it's a necessity. So I'm finishing what we started. But go ahead, man.
Well, thank you all for sitting through all that. That was an incredible. Because I mean, of course, people go through meltdowns living in this society. So thank you for all making through that. And I think that you all actually were probably in the highest form. More about the tone of intersection of media and fantasy. I got this.